Imagine what could happen if XRP gets a Tier 1 asset designation from the Bank of International
Hey,
Settlements.
future millionaires! Welcome back to the channel. It's so good to have you here with me again. I really hope you're crushing it today, no matter where you're watching from around this incredible world of ours. Now listen, we need to talk about XRP today, and I'm going to start with something that might shock you. Google searches for crypto? Completely dead right now. I'm talking zero interest in crypto and Bitcoin. And you know what? This is exactly when the biggest rallies happen, my friends. Everyone's convinced it's game over for crypto. I see it everywhere on Twitter. People saying, sell now, take your profits and run before it crashes even more. But here's what I don't understand. Are people just not paying attention to what's actually happening right in front of us? Think about this for a second. Everything we've been waiting for as crypto investors, it's literally happening right now. We're sitting on the edge of regulatory clarity. We're about to get those ETFs we've been talking about forever. Institutional adoption is knocking on our door. And yet somehow, people think crypto is finished? That this cycle is over and we should come back in 2028? Here's what I think is actually finished. Those old 4-year cycles everyone keeps talking about. This cycle proved it with all the delays and how much longer everything took than expected. I'm convinced that utility is about to take control of this market going forward. Some people see what's coming. Others are choosing to look the other way.
All right, everyone, you know I had to come back and talk about this. Remember that video where I mentioned the McRib? Well, guess what just happened? McDonald's officially brought back the McRib today for a limited time only. And here's the thing that's absolutely fascinating. Just look at what happens every single time the McRib makes its comeback.
And just like clockwork, what do we see? The market starts pumping. That's Bitcoin's chart you're looking at right there. And here's the thing. When Bitcoin decides to move up, it's like the leader of the pack. It literally drags the entire crypto market up with it. Now, we've seen this exact pattern play out before in history. The question everyone's asking is, will lightning strike twice? Is this going to be another repeat of what we've witnessed in the past?
Guys, this is huge. Ripple Labs isn't just playing in the crypto sandbox anymore. They're absolutely conquering it. And now they're setting their sights on something even bigger. The XRP-linked company is coming for traditional finance itself. And listen, this isn't just me saying this. This is coming straight from mainstream media. We're talking CNBC here, people.
And honestly, when I saw this article, my jaw just dropped. So get this. Ripple Labs has already climbed to become one of the world's largest cryptocurrency companies. But here's the kicker. Their executives aren't even close to being done. CEO Brad Garlinghouse sat down with CNBC and dropped this bombshell. He said that over the past year, they've been working overtime to do something incredible. They're building a bridge between the Web3 world and the industry that's basically been crypto's biggest enemy, traditional finance. Think about that for a second. We're talking about connecting two worlds that have been at war with each other.
And you know what? That's exactly what Ripple has been working towards since day one. We're literally watching traditional finance and crypto merge together right before our eyes in real time. Now listen, if you think the big names we've seen enter the space so far are impressive, oh my friend, you haven't seen anything yet. We're about to witness names you've probably never even heard of flooding into this market. I'm talking about a massive tsunami of institutional adoption that's coming our way. Right now, it's mostly the giant banks and household names making moves. But here's what's coming next. The regional banks are going to jump in. Your local community bank, that neighborhood bank you drive by every day, they're going to start getting into crypto too. And here's the game changer moment. Imagine when your regular bank starts offering crypto services. That's when this entire market becomes legitimized. Because suddenly, all those everyday people, the ones who've been sitting on the sidelines thinking crypto is too complicated or risky, they're finally going to see the real value in what we've been talking about this whole time.
BioPharma raises $100 million for crypto treasury to back cancer treatment.
Okay, I'm really loving this concept. So let me break down what cryptocurrencies they're actually investing in right now. We've got Bitcoin, Ethereum, Solana, Injective, plus some other lesser-known cryptos in the mix. But here's the million-dollar question that's been bugging me. Are they going to invest in XRP? Or do they actually see XRP as one of those lesser-known cryptocurrencies? Because here's what I've noticed. Some of these companies seem to purposely leave XRP out of their public announcements. But you know what I think is really happening behind closed doors? I believe they're all quietly stacking XRP like crazy. It's like they have to keep pushing this Bitcoin narrative publicly, and honestly, I just don't get it anymore. Think about it. Retail investors aren't even really looking at Bitcoin these days. Why? Because most people can't afford to buy a whole Bitcoin. So where's the FOMO going to come from? It's definitely not going to be Bitcoin, and it's not going to be Ethereum either. Sure, we might see some continued FOMO around Solana, but here's what I think is really going to happen. Most investors are going to look right past those expensive cryptocurrencies and focus on something they can actually build a decent-sized bag with. And that's exactly why I think XRP is going to be the ultimate FOMO winner this cycle. People are going to be able to stack serious bags, and when this thing takes off, wow. But wait, it gets even better. Check this out. The Trump administration is now looking at allowing crypto-backed mortgages. So here we are again, seeing this topic come up everywhere. And guys, we're not just talking about some distant future anymore. This feels like it's right around the corner. We're literally at the point where this could become reality. Okay, picture this scenario for a second. Instead of having to sell all your precious crypto just to buy a house, what if you could use your crypto as collateral instead? Mind-blowing, right? Here's how this would work. You keep your entire bag, but now it's generating passive income for you. And guess what that passive income does? It pays your mortgage. You're literally getting your dream house while your crypto just sits there working for you. This means you could ride out your holdings for an entire additional cycle because you're collecting monthly returns. Now think about this. Imagine where XRP's price is going to be 3 or 4 years from now. Instead of selling your whole bag today to buy that house, maybe in the future that same house only costs you 50 or 100 XRP. That's exactly why I'm not in any rush to sell my crypto right now. If this was the 2021 bull run, I'd probably be making videos about exit strategies and when to take profits. But this cycle, this is completely different, my friends. We're literally sitting on the edge of massive institutional adoption. And here's the thing that gives me chills. For the first time in crypto history, you beat the institutions to this party. But that window is closing fast. Once these institutions fully flood into this space, that's it. Game over for retail getting in cheap. From that point forward, you're going to be paying premium prices for XRP, and there's no going back. Ripple's CEO says company won't support bills that threaten hard-won XRP clarity. So Ripple CEO Brad Garlinghouse just made something crystal clear, and this is huge. He said flat out that Ripple will not support any legislation that could mess with the legal clarity that XRP has already secured here in the United States. In a recent interview with Crypto in America, Garlinghouse called XRP's regulatory position a major milestone that they earned through years of brutal legal warfare. And he's making it clear, they're not about to let anyone jeopardize that. Think about this for a second. Imagine spending all that time, energy, and millions of dollars to beat the SEC in court, only to have some random bill get passed that destroys all the clarity you just fought for. Of course, Ripple's going to protect that at all costs. But here's what a lot of people don't realize, and this is really important. Ripple wasn't just fighting for XRP in that courtroom. They were fighting for Stellar, for Cardano, heck, even for Bitcoin and Ethereum. They were literally fighting for every single cryptocurrency that exists today. Without that clarity they secured, so many cryptos would have already been wiped out. Remember all those SEC lawsuits that were flying around in 2022, 2023, and 2024 right up until the election? That's exactly what Ripple was standing up against for all of us. And what did they get out of this epic battle? Complete clarity for XRP. Now XRP is fully vetted and approved in the United States, which is going to give it a massive competitive advantage going forward. This is getting exciting. So the founder of EA just dropped some major insights about XRP's recent surge, and he's saying it perfectly shows us exactly where the real demand is right now. And get this, with the government reopening, people are getting seriously optimistic about those XRP ETFs we've all been waiting for. And honestly, the demand around XRP right now is just absolutely mind-blowing. Think about it for a second. These ETF companies wouldn't be filing all these applications if there wasn't massive demand behind it, right? These aren't small companies just throwing darts at a board here. They specifically chose XRP because they're already getting bombarded with requests from their customers. The demand is literally right there in front of us. Now we're just sitting here waiting for that inevitable price surge to match all this crazy demand. And when those ETFs finally get approved, oh my goodness, the inflows into XRP are going to be absolutely insane. We're talking about institutional money flooding in like we've never seen before. Hold on to your seats because this is absolutely mind-blowing. Ripple has managed to secure Tier 1 banks as partners, and here's why that's so incredible. XRP is going to be classified as a Tier 1 asset by Basel. Let me say that again because I want this to sink in. XRP is going to be sitting right alongside gold as a Tier 1 asset. And you know what? I honestly don't think most XRP holders fully understand the magnitude of what's coming their way. This is going to change everything we thought we knew about this market. If you're wondering what Tier 1 is, take a listen to Jake Claver here.
Imagine what could happen if XRP gets a Tier 1 asset designation from the Bank of International Settlements. A Tier 1 asset designation means the highest level of trust and liquidity in global finance. This status would allow XRP to be held as a core reserve asset by central banks, similar to gold and U.S. Treasuries. With the Tier 1 backing, XRP would not just be another cryptocurrency, it'd be a critical piece of the global financial system. The result? Increased adoption, greater liquidity, and potentially massive price appreciation. The Bank of International Settlements plays a central role in setting global financial standards. And if they were to elevate XRP to Tier 1 status, it would signal trust, regulatory acceptance, and broader usage in cross-border settlements. The implications of this move would be huge, potentially cementing XRP's place as a core piece of infrastructure in banking globally.
And here's where it gets absolutely crazy. The BIS. Every single white paper they've ever created has been designed with Ripple's technology and XRP in mind from the very beginning. So picture this scenario. If the BIS actually gives XRP that coveted Tier 1 status, do you think we're looking at a high-priced XRP in the future? Friends, this would literally rocket XRP to price points that right now seem like pure fantasy. And here's what gets me really excited. There's a very, and I mean very good chance this is actually going to happen. Why am I so confident? Because the BIS, the IMF, the World Bank, the European Central Bank, and tons of other central banks around the world already view XRP this way. They've been looking at XRP as the future since day one. Now, the reason I'm bringing this up right now is because we're literally on the edge of Basel III coming into effect in January of next year. This could be another massive catalyst that hits right in the middle of alt season. Look, I'm not going to sit here and promise you this is definitely happening, but based on everything I'm seeing, there's a really strong chance this could play out in the short term too. Data Analyst, XRP's turn is beginning. Price has bottomed out. Here's the new target. So here's what the analysts are saying. They believe the bottom is officially in for XRP, and they're targeting a price point of $21 and change in the short term. And honestly, I can totally see that playing out, especially with all these ETF inflows about to hit the market. You could also see this happening when retail FOMO kicks in once the price really starts breaking out. XRP isn't just heading for a new all-time high. We're talking about entering complete price discovery territory. I'm already seeing tons of people calling this a supercycle based on XRP's chart patterns. All those years and years of consolidation are finally going to propel this cryptocurrency to new highs, one after another. But here's my take. I don't think it's necessarily a super cycle. I think what we're about to witness is more of a utility-driven run that's going to unfold during this alt season. And this run is going to be unlike anything we've ever experienced before. Why? Because the institutions weren't here in 2021. They definitely weren't around in 2017 and 2018. But now they're finally going to be major players during this alt season. And I think that's going to be an absolute game changer for XRP's price. Look, it's still too early to predict exactly how high we'll go. We should have a much clearer picture within the next 2 weeks, though. We need to watch those ETF inflows closely and see how they're actually impacting XRP's price. Is that market cap multiplier effect going to play a role with XRP too? Time will tell. But here's what I know for sure. The exciting times are finally here, future millionaires. Until everything unfolds, just stay patient, stay positive, and let's get rich together. All right, that's going to wrap up today's video. I want to thank every single one of you for watching and supporting the channel. I truly appreciate all of you. I'll catch you in the next one. Have an amazing night, everyone.